Gear up for equality virtual run? Wow. Babe, you tahu tak apa tu virtual run?
Tahu, virtual run ni dia satu event yang berkonsepkan perlumbaan. So, you boleh berlari, you boleh mendaki, you boleh berjalan pun dekat mana-mana lokasi yang you nak. So, dulu waktu kita PKP, event ni popular lah. Tapi you jangan risau sebab event ni pun masih lagi ada. Contoh macam Gear Up for Equality virtual run.
Oh, I tahu event tu. Dia start 1 sampai 12 Julai. Yang paling best I tengok, dia punya running skit. You tengok, ada medal, ada shoe bag. Yang paling best, limited edition t-shirt untuk lelaki dan perempuan.
Betul. Event ni pun lagi best sebab diorang ada collaborate dengan satu Gear Up store ni. Satu jenama baru yang sampai kat Malaysia hari tu. And I have tried one baju diorang, kasut diorang and sangat best. You should have one.
Wih, macam seronok kan? Jom kita join. Promo code tu tak ada cerita lah.
Yang tu lah cerita ni.
So kita dah lari bila ni?
Ish, serius lah. Dia perempuan kot. Atas jalan pula tu.
Oi, you tengok apa?
Ni lah, you tengok video ni. Video lelaki tindas perempuan. Macam, serius lah weh. Perempuan kot.
Uish, teruk ya. Ni kan, kalau you kat tempat dia, you rasa you nak buat apa?
Kalau I kat tempat dia, I akan lawan balik. Sebab kita ni ada hak bersuara. So, kita kena lawan balik lah. Benda salah kot. Lawan lah, takut apa?
Fuh, you tahu tak? Susah tau nak cek perempuan yang macam you ni. Berani gila.
Taklah. Ramai je yang dah aware pasal equality ni.
Oh yelah, you ingat tak ada satu event hari tu, Gear Up for Equality virtual run. Event tu pun dia pasal kempen yang pasal kesedaran equality ni supaya kita boleh aware yang perempuan ni ataupun wanita kat dunia ni masih ada hak untuk bersuara dia sama dengan orang lain.
Lah. Kalau kita join event ni, kita pun menyokong kempen equality. And orang lelaki pun boleh join. Equality kan?
Betul. Jom lah. Jom.
I nak ambil kategori ni lah. 5 km. Murah sikit. Tak payah bayar.
luckily from Iconics Co-Living, who is actually one of the co-founders, as well as currently serve as a principal consultant for Iconics. Right. A brief introductions of the company. Actually, we are pretty much focusing on co-living management. So when we say co-living management means that we mainly focus on a condominium. As for current, it's in a condominium where we have a multiple number of rooms, and each room is actually rented to different tenants, right? So we'll be into the business for actually about 4 or 5 years. We're entering to the 5 years already. What we do is we pretty much focus on the area in Klang Valley as for now, and we have more than 1,500 rooms is under our management. So the words management comes in, and it's actually also relate to today's topics on how your management style can influence your tenant culture. Over here, there are a few keywords. That's one is about management. Another one is influence, and what we talk about is the tenant culture. Okay, so what we do is we are a company, we are a property manager on behalf of the owner to manage the tenants. So the owners, who are actually the landlords, what do they have? They have a properties. What do they want? They want to have rental return. Who are their customer, or who are the people that they will look for? The tenants. So the tenant culture will really have a big impact of their properties, because when we say tenants, some people may say headache, some people may say actually they are very good. And in general, when you have a group of people staying into a same unit, actually you won't have either a very harmonious kind of environments, or it can go very hostile. So the management style, it could be a big factors contributing to which direction we will go. So what is important here is, as an owner, as an investor, or even a person who actually just want to get tenants to occupy a space, the main objective is they want to hold the properties for a number of years or even longer, so that they can actually get the capital return. But the thing is, when we do that, okay, we need to make sure the one who occupied the space will upkeep it. All right. This is where the culture comes in. If people staying it, they love the property, they take care of the properties like their own space and their own house, right? Then we will generally say, oh, we have got a good tenant. But the one more things that we really need to make sure is they also willingly make payment for every month. Okay, that is very important. So if by saying so, we come to a point where, all right, we need to manage them, right? Meaning that we need to manage their emotions. We need to make sure they are living there with a peace of mind and willingly to make monthly rental payment. All right. So in terms of management style, if you talk about what style you have, we can split it into there are 2 types. Okay, in general, we can call it a departmental management style or portfolio management style. So departmental, actually in layman term, is actually you hire professional teams, all right, with departments means that a company, a property management company, or the rent management company to manage it. So in this case, Iconics actually fall into this category. Another one is actually the portfolio, which is actually individual. When the owner itself, or even their agent that get the tenant for themselves, okay, they actually can manage the tenant also. But then there are a lot of things actually when we come to this tenant management. We will have to handle their booking, we have to handle their tenancy, we have to handle all sorts of things like month-to-month kind of calculations of the bill, okay, expenses, any fix-ups, and also even what we put it is we make sure the building management fee is paid, okay, the electricity is paid, water bill is paid, everything's right. So if it's go by departmental, means that actually a company to manage it. And if we come to individual portfolio wise, actually it's 1 person, 1 day cake in that case, you handle all. There's no such thing as which one is better or what. It's just that what we want is eventually will the tenants live in our properties actually will give us that kind of money returns or not? All right. This is where the culture comes in. All right. So what the tenants want, before we say what we want, what the tenants want. All right. When they live there, I believe they want to live it with, if it's a co-living, they want to live with a harmony kind of environment. That means everyone live in peace, they have their own space, they can do their work and then can rest well. And that's one thing. Another thing, I think in order to manage, when we come to say, okay, I want to manage a person. So what the person to be managed want to be seen. I would think the words, okay, will be fairness. There must be a fair between the stakeholders, which is actually the tenant, all right, the one who manage them, as well as the owner. So if I look at it, okay, what kind of a management style? I mean, how do we manage it? Will have a different impact, right? First of all, there must be a communications, okay, between the one who stay inside the unit and the person who manage them. Meaning that whether you're on behalf of the owner or actually you yourself is the owner. So in this case, is the channel of communication is very important. It must have the place for the tenants to talk to you. It means that we are very open. We are there to hear, to listen to them, right? So a channel of communication is very important. That's why in Iconics, in our practice, we just share our experience with you guys, is we open up many channels of communication for our tenants to talk to us, all right? Okay, while we actually, because on behalf of the owner, so we don't really get the tenant to directly deal with the owner because, well, we are the manager, we are here to manage you, we are here to listen to you, all right? So multiple channel means that we have a physical center, meaning that in the property itself, normally we'll set out a tenant center at the site. So when we have a tenant center means actually we have a physical presence at that particular property. So we always believe when it comes to communication, the first thing first is there is a physical kind of presence for listening and communicating. All right. But of course, some of them or most of them might not have the time to come down to our tenant center. So of course, we have a chat group, we have our social media, we have email, and we respond to all of this, what we call their feedback or their response, or even we see it as a complaint, or we normally won't see it as a complaint, we will see it that they need a place to talk. Okay, so that is very important because a lot of this kind of miscommunication will lead to what we call unfairness or even unhappiness or a lot of issues because there's no right channel for them to talk. All right, that is very, very important. In order to make sure, all right, all our staff or every one of us in the company will be able to actually communicate effectively. That's one more thing very important is we must be consistent. So this leads to the second point I want to highlight, consistency. All right, that means whether the tenants speak to an officer or you speak to even me or even speak to another senior management or even they speak to our technicians or the external parties or even an agent or whoever will help the owner to fulfill the what we call this relationship of tenants and owners, they must have a certain way of communication with consistency. The price of the room has to be consistent, meaning that whether you ask from me, another colleague, or our booking consultant or external agent, all the same. Actually, no different. Consistency is there. Okay, when you ask about okay, what is the whether they can and can't means that do and don't. We have the house rule. Everyone refer to the house rule. Okay, and we also refer them if it's involved building the building rules. So it's very consistent. Whether you ask me or you ask anybody, we will have a staff, a dedicated staff to type on behalf of the owner, communicating with the tenants. Whether you pick on anybody, we must have a consistency there. And that's why we have a very straightforward, direct kind of a house rule that explain to every tenant, especially when they engage with us, meaning that when they come and sign the tenancy agreement. So in our culture is, to want to build up the culture is, whether this tenant is actually at one site or they move to another properties, which is under our management, The tenancy is actually the same. It's just that the schedule is different kind of properties, different kind of pricing, and a different kind of location. That's it. But the thing is, the content is actually the same. Okay, the house rule is actually whether it's actually one side on the other side, it's the same. So I think this is where we actually want to cultivate a culture, right, of fairness. So if it's inconsistent, I believe the management will be very hard to handle it, because is you say, I say, and different people say different things. So there's actually no consistency there. We believe the communication may easily break down, and that may lead to a lot of unnecessary kind of a dispute. Okay, and the tenancy agreement also the same, where we basically have one set of tenancy agreement with every single tenant that stay with us. Okay, and it's very easy to make every tenant and also every owner and every external agents understand this thing very well. Well, this is it, and as is, very clear and direct. Okay, so when you have a very consistent kind of documents, then the tenant will be very easy to actually integrate into the community. And the next thing is, when they stay in, they need to have transparency. All right, what you say in the house rule, what you do, okay, is actually must be consistent as well. So how do we ensure that? I believe the words comes in is transparency, because a lot of dispute, a lot of argument when it comes in is about money. So we actually have, in our cases, we have built a software, cloud-based software to manage in terms of especially the money as well as the documents, all right, for this co-living. So we call it the TMS, okay, a tenant management system. So the transparency is there because multiple sources of data entries, all right, that means be it from our account side, from our external agent side, from our internal sales side, the operation side, we all refer to one system. We all refer to one document. So, and when you come to this kind of stage, right, then when the tenants, whenever they ask for something, all right, we will actually list down what are the charges, okay, invoices, all right, the charges for fixing up a light, the charges for fixing up bidet, all these things is very transparent to them and also very transparent to the owner. This is very important in our context. We believe this kind of culture is very important because everyone believes there won't be any what we call bias kind of treatment, meaning that, oh, I'll be charged because of I stay in the bigger room, so I pay more, okay, or I pay less. I stay in a small room, then I pay more. No, it's very transparent. All right, everyone actually got the price list same. Okay, we refer to one document. All right, we actually make it easy to understand and very direct. Again, we live in the culture that we do is in simple culture. Okay, very fair culture. Everyone will actually support to each other. All right, that one, you will find that there's no argument between the management and the tenants and amongst tenants, because if anyone make mistake, all right, or any will say didn't follow the house rule, we also be very transparent. We will inform other tenants, this so and so actually did not really follow the rules, and thus, according to the tenancy agreement, the following action will be taken. Everyone know that, okay, this is the way, and this is very transparent. Okay, we are not hiding from anybody. And because of that, it cultivates a very, very healthy kind of culture. Everyone will just speak up for what they think is right, okay, according to the house rule, because we are very consistent with what we say. Right? So with having this list, we must be able to track, we must be able to actually follow up with our tenants, what we actually agree on during the move-in or during when they sign the tenancy agreement. So a systematic kind of system is needed, all right? A very structural kind of procedure is needed. So in this case, our system play a very important role, the TMS, because we have the very good record or tracking of, okay, from the moment they sign the booking until they move out. Okay, all this we refer to the system, and is everyone use the system. So even we ourselves, okay, referring to any case, we go back to the system, right? Even we explain to the tenants, all right, well, we refer to the system and what is stated there, right, is actually what is following the tenancy you sign, all right, the tenancy agreement. So system itself means it's systematic, meaning that every month, the money in and out, all right, whatever request they make, we capture into what we call a ticketing system. So we have a proof, okay, it's not to prove who is right, who is wrong. We have actually a tracking, right? If you have any things you need, you just put in, okay? And we will see the request, we call it a request from the tenants, whether it's actually a fair deal to the owner as well or not, right? If it's a highlight of certain wear and tear issue, we record it, we think, okay, the owner is actually need to bear the cost, or actually it's a half-half, or actually the tenant actually should pay the cost. Very clear cut, because the ticketing system will record all this incident into the system, and we can actually follow up easily and transparently and consistently. Okay, with this system, okay, especially the ticketing thing come in, actually we find that the tenant find it actually is very useful, because whatever they ask us, I mean, our operation team, we have a record on it, a timestamp on it. So they find it, wow, this is things done it this way. And we actually have a timestamp, means actually they know why my one later, why his one earlier. No, it's ticketing. So every ticket have a timestamp, you do it, you rectify it, okay, based on the agreement from the owner as well as from the tenant, clear cut, all right? So we believe with this kind of structural kind of procedure, it makes everyone feel like, yeah, they are treated fairly, and it cultivates a very positive kind of culture, all right? Over here, of course, I relate all this into, in general, how a person live in this kind of co-living environment, how do they feel? And everyone feel the same thing, or everyone actually can live harmonious, or actually not, is actually with, in the layman term or in a general, we call it, what kind of culture is that? Fair culture, harmony culture, hostile culture, fighting culture, whatever. But our objective is co-living. We want everybody can afford to live in a very, what we call high-end kind of condo with very affordable kind of cost. And importantly is, you take the responsibility to take care of the properties which is actually owned by the landlord. So with this, we hope everyone, okay, who can actually fulfill or actually want to achieve or have this kind of harmonious, fair, and well-treated kind of environment with a very consistent kind of house rule, and then they are willingly, okay, or more than willing to refer the friends, okay, to come and stay with us, okay. And with that, they actually become a very good tenants, we call that, because they upkeep the properties, they pay the rental on time, and even they, after 1 year, they still want to continue. We see all these are very good tenants, very positive kind of cultures. And that's why we have a tagline in the company, we call it good tenants stay with good tenant, the law of attractions. If we can actually have a proper communication, okay, a very consistent kind of house rule, building rules, and across, okay, different properties, and we are transparent in terms of especially dealing with money, dealing with what we actually, they agree or we agree and the owner agree, all right, these kind of things, as well as we actually structurally record all the incidents, okay, what have been promised by both all the stakeholders, and believe with this kind of positive cultures, all right, definitely, all right, this will actually build up a very, very positive kind of culture, all right. So the topic, like how your management style. So basically, we are sharing our experience, right? We also see different companies or different owners. They may have their own kind of management style. In order to, if you've asked me for my own opinion, is very one important part is what you want. Okay, if you want to have a very positive and very harmonious kind of cultures among the tenants, then we work towards to that kind of directions, all right? Blaming culture, complaining cultures, negative kind of feeling, and abusive words, all this actually we should actually put aside. We want good tenants, you will attract good tenants. We want good paymaster, you will get good paymaster, as long as the objective is very clear. So with that, I would think this is a very big, small, little time that I share with you, and actually I thank all of you to attend and with this sharing, and thank you very much. And if you want to know more about it, okay, join more of these events, and I thank you again. Thanks a lot. Right, thanks.